going to push through that layer. He's given me a slight warning. Good boy. But now I'm going to start to build the question up a little bit. If you just stay on the same level, you've got to read them, but sometimes they're ready for more even though they think they're not. Good job. So this is the first time I've approached from in a straight line. I tend to, at the beginning I was going around him a little bit, which is easier for him. But this is just a different question and something that's important in getting good foundations anyway. Nice, I love that he came back to me. So even though it looks like I'm not achieving very much right now, what this is teaching him is, one, it's going to teach him how to draw just like that. It's going to make it a lot easier for me to approach him. I'm going to be able to have a bit of control of his body if I need to. And those are all tools that he can also use when we start getting to the harder questions. So I'm just going to wait here. Going to draw back to reward. I'm going to wait till he brings his energy down. Good, I love that. So he thought about leaving and he recovered. So if my horse is going into a fight response and it's pinning its ears and it's trying to charge me, or good boy, I have it running around the yard and it's really worried and its eyes are rolled back, or it's standing stock still and it's kind of all its muscles are tense over its body and it's sort of preparing for impact, I have pushed through the layers too fast and they've resorted, or they've switched into their fight, flight, freeze response. So although he sometimes leaves, he still has his thinking brain switched on because he's able to come back quite quickly to me. Good. I'm going to move the hips around so he's not on the side. Good. And I'm going to see if I can. Good. That was nice. Get him a bit more comfortable with him sniffing me. He's gone to leave, so all I'll do is I'll put the pressure on the hip. Good. Bring my hand back. He's gone to leave, so same thing. Good. Same thing. Good job. I'm going to build the pressure up a little bit. So I'm kind of playing hot cold. I'm saying no wrong answer, beautiful, good answer. But you actually have to give them the foundations of what they're supposed to be doing before you should ever be allowed to add pressure. Because if you add pressure and they don't know what they're doing, they're just going to end up very confused. Because the pressure, wrong answer, right answer, good job. Good. Good job. And now I'm just going to stand, and we're just going to have, the next question is that he can just stand quietly in front of me. And go toward it. Are you still filming or have you stopped? Oh, cool. Okay. Good. And then going back to sniffing. So when he leaves, and it's never a punishment, it's just a correction. So I'm saying, no, that's not quite what I was meaning. Good. He thought about leaving, he came back. So when they do that, that's a really good answer. Good. So here I've got quite a bit of pressure on him because I've come in quite close and I've gone through one or two layers. So I try not to do that, but in this case I just want to put a little bit of a bigger question on him, because I think it is important at times, as long as you're reading it and it's asked at the correct time, that they have slightly bigger questions. So I'm just going to wait till he brings his body language down. He's starting to do it. Good. Good, so very, very minor in him bringing his body language down. Good, he's starting to soften his eyes. Good. So I'm going to keep the pressure here, well done. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my arms as my body. So before I was approaching and then retreating my whole body, now my arms are going to approach, and then as he relaxes down, they're going to retreat. So they're going to approach here, and then retreat as he comes in. So I want to get him off the rail a little bit. Good, that was nice. Good, so my arms approach. Good, he gets 2 eyes on me, they retreat. So here he's left, so I'm just going to say, good, 2 eyes on me. Good. Good. So it is about building, good boy, a bit of a trust, because he has to understand or know that every time he looks at me, I'm going to hop back. If I ever don't hop back and I ignore that safety stop, then he's going to be a little bit unsure the next time. And then if that happens a couple of times, he starts to not trust the safety stop, and now he's going to start going backwards. So sometimes when a horse goes backwards in their training, it's because they've lost trust in what the person's asking of them. And you have to go right back to the basics and earn that trust back. Good. So I'm rewarding him every time he pushes his nose out towards me. I'm going to wait there, wait till he comes back. Good, that was nice. And for a particularly good answer, I'm going to hop back away from him. Good, that was good. 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 So here he's just got a little bit confused. Well done. So then I just stay very quiet and I wait until he starts to answer the question. So I wouldn't want to go bigger in my pressure. Good boy. I don't want to punish him for it. I want him to have, oh, that's what she meant. I want him to have that moment. Not, oh my gosh, what is she doing to me? Why is she doing this? Good. And then he started to have a little bit of a lick of the lips. I bring my energy back down to say, good job, you've answered the question perfectly, I'm going to hop back. So sometimes they might have this moment of confusion for 5 minutes and I just have to quietly work until he can switch the brain back on. So what he did is he went into a little bit of a panic, hopped into that survival brain, well done, and couldn't come back out of it. So I just had to give him the time and the space to quietly switch that survival brain back over into the thinking brain so that he could process the question I was asking. That was so good. So there when he leaves, he's got, there we go. Good. Good boy. Good, and he's had a lovely little yawn there, so I'm going to give him a moment to process. So we call this a bit of an emotional catharsis. It's where they've had an aha moment in the brain and that neural pathway begins to change. And when they have this catharsis, it's very important that we don't interrupt it And so you can see there with the licking of the lips, the yawning. Sometimes they'll go and rub their knee, other times they'll shake their head, and on occasion they've been known to roll as well. And so I need to wait until he's had this a half moment, let it cement itself in the brain. And then to finish him on this session, I'm just going to go back in and see if I can get him to sniff my hand. Again. Hopefully with a slightly good job, slightly more relaxed demeanour. Good. Good, a nice exhale of breath and back into the yawn. Good, so I went to take a step forward, but he brought his energy back in a really nice way. So I wanted to reward him for that. Good job. His expression is so soft right now. And his body language is very open, but I still want to respect that safety stop if he needs it. He's given it to me now. Sometimes I'll sit here and I'll wait, like I try to wait until the energy comes back down, because I don't want them to control me to the point where they just say, no, I don't want you in, and then they just never learn to work through it. I wait for them to switch their brain back on, relax down. Good. He stayed open all the way in here. He's just closed there. And that's when you can see him going into a flight response. Good. 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 Good, so he's giving me some really cool answers right now. I just want to see if, good boy, I can get his body facing me a little more. Good. Good job. Good. Oops, sorry, Ben. Good. So there I kept the pressure on until he finally gave me a little bit of a better answer, because I've already established that sort of more fundamental skills that he needed earlier on. So he's already knows how to draw, or good boy, starting to get the idea of how to draw. So now I can start to ask slightly bigger questions and expect slightly bigger answers. But if at any stage he became overwhelmed and started to go into a stronger fear response, then I know that I'm asking too much of him. So there he just got confused, he walked away, and I just kept that pressure there. Good, there we go. Good, I'm going to reward for that. Hop back, wait till his energy comes down. Good boy, reward for... So we also reward when the energy starts to come down and they start to turn on their brain. So more than anything, we're teaching them how to think. Good. I've kept my hand there a little bit longer because I was waiting for his expression to soften. Because although he's sniffed me the other times, every time he's brought his head back away from my hand, you can see he's a little bit bewildered about it and not super comfortable. So this is a really cool opportunity. Good. Just to let him get used to me. Good, that was nice. So I withdraw my hand. Come back. Ooh, that was so nice. Good, I liked that he left and then came back. So I'll reward it. Good, nice job. Good. And I'm able to ask quite a big question with quite a bit of pressure on him, very close to him. So that shows you how much he's changed throughout the course of the session. He's really taken me in really nicely there. Good, he's slightly worried about it, so even though he sniffed, let's see how he wants to leave. So to finish him, I just want to get him to that stage where he can sniff me and be okay about it, but I still want to give him a little bit of a release for that because he did such a good job, and then he had that nice licking of the lips. Good, he brought his gaze back to me. Good job. Good. So there he started to push his nose towards me, which is still an attempt. So he's starting to get warmer. So there he's having a lick of the lips. Good. Nice. Well done. So I can tell he's thinking about stepping towards me. Now he's gone into a yawn. So I'll just let him time to process that. Good. He's thinking about stepping towards me. Good. Back into the yawn. So I'll give him a bit more time. So because this horse doesn't have as many layers as the kamanas that come straight out of the wild, I've been able to ask a lot of him. He's at the stage where, in however long the session's been, Portis took probably about 3 weeks to get to that stage. And so with these wild horses, good boy, you have to work at the time they need. And this horse here, even though I'm asking much bigger questions than I did with Portis this early on, he's showing a similar response in that he's comfortable, not super comfortable because it's obviously something very new, but has a really awesome attitude and demeanour about it. Good. There I really like that he was thinking about turning right and leaving, and he came back twice. I'm going to step to his hip and just see if I can get him off the rail. Good. Good. So he kind of gave me good enough answers, like if this had been earlier on in the session. But I want him. Good. Bringing his forehand a fraction. That was so good. And then he goes to leave again. Good boy. There we go. Good. Give him a reward to say, well done, you got the answer right. Good. Good boy. And I really like that answer. I'm going to hop back and give him a big reward for it because that was the first time he's approached and stayed on me. Quite often he'll start to approach and then he'll go around me and try to then leave another way. So you'll notice my reward is always a draw back, but I'm also very, I try to emphasize that good boy, that sort of monotone good boy a little bit, so that he quickly learns that he's done the right job. He starts to associate that with the right thing, and then they learn very fast from that. So here, I'm going to wait till he draws back. Good. Reward. Good. I like that. He went to leave, he came back. Good. He's had a little bit of a release there, so I'll wait. Good. Good boy. Good. Well done. Waiting. So there I'm trying to block him. How long? Okay, I'm not going to be long. Good job. Good. Good job. And I want to finish him on that. So we got it a little bit in the mid stage. Then he started to struggle because the questions were getting bigger. And so I just quietly kept the pressure, kept the question there until he started to get a bit warmer in his answer. And the goal was to finish him on that. Sometimes if you accidentally push through too many layers, you have to go back 10 steps and you just have to focus on something at that foundational level. And you know that's happened. If you're unable to get that end goal that you had in mind, it's because you probably pushed a little too hard, and then you've got to go back and do a bit more foundational work. So even though he let me get to the stage where he could stretch out and sniff my hand, I know that he's still not super comfortable about it. So the next session we'll go back to that first layer of groundwork and getting him a little bit better in his body control and being a bit comfortable about me approaching and retreating.